we can look for God's character and God's ways. Things that are consistent with God's Spirit, we learn to recognize those. I remember one time when God was talking to me about judgment when I was a young Christian. I got all excited. It's like in Revelation or in Ezekiel, where the word of the Lord comes in the form of a scroll. They eat the scroll, and in the mouth it's as sweet as honey, but it's like bitter in the stomach. Well, I was experiencing the sweetness of it, hearing the word of the Lord, but the Lord had to calm me down, sit me down. This isn't a pleasant thing. And especially when he was talking about needing to discipline his church because we were so far from his heart. There it wasn't judgment, but it was like just God's broken heart. Hosea chapter 11, where God is speaking of disciplining his people Israel. He says, when they were young, I loved them. I bent down and fed them like a father spoon feeds their little child. I led them with cords of affection. But the more I called through my servants the prophets, the further they went from me. God declares that he's going to send judgment. And just as he brought his people out of Egypt, he's going to send them back into captivity. Only not Egypt this time, but Assyria will be their king. And as God is saying this, his voice breaks. And he says, oh, my people, how can I do this to you? How can I make you like Admah and Zeboim? Admah and Zeboim were two cities of the plain earlier in the Old Testament that God judged with Sodom and Gomorrah. And God overturned them in his anger. He kindled a fire upon them in his anger. And God says, how can I make you like these cities that I overturned and that I burned? Instead, my own heart is overturned within me. All my compassions are kindled. As if to say, my people, if I could, I would bear the judgment in your place. That's how much I love you. And of course, we know in the New Testament, that's exactly what he did. The voice of God, the heart of God, will be consistent with the good news, the gospel, the message of Jesus' death and resurrection, which is the centerpiece of Scripture, the focus of history.